Good morning, good morning, good morning. Grab yourself a cup of coffee. I will be right with you. All right, my friends, happy Monday. I am a little behind this morning because my microphone was not set up. All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. What is going on? How are you, my friend? Good morning, Anne. How are you? Happy Monday. Welcome to Men Up with Mike, episode, get this, 150. Can you believe that? This little thing that I started on a whim when COVID hit and I wasn't traveling, wasn't speaking, I thought, there's got to be other ways to connect. So this little thing that I started on a whim, we are now up to episode 150. So welcome to Men Up with Mike. If this is your first time here, my name is Mike Cameron, and I am incredibly grateful that you have taken the time to spend a little bit of your morning with me. This is the show where we talk all things personal development, leadership, personal growth, and really just becoming the best version of who you can possibly be. And quite frankly, that's why I show up, because this gives me an opportunity to practice becoming that best version of self here as well. And I got to give a shout out to my buddy Alan. Karen, yes, Born Resilient. This is a clothing line, bornresilient.ca. My friend Alan Keeler has started up in conjunction with his wife, and partial proceeds go back to, I can't remember the name of the organization, but they provide pets for people with mental health issues. And Alan and his partner are just incredible human beings doing some great things. So if you're interested in any of the Born Resilient clothing, you can hop on over to bornresilient.ca. Good morning, Mitch, watching me on mikecameron.ca/live. If you guys are watching on Facebook or LinkedIn, I would greatly appreciate it if you would share this video with your network. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about the fastest way to change your life as a dude. I had an epiphany yesterday, a bit of a revelation that came to me based on a question that I asked on Facebook. For those that follow me regularly, I asked, what was sort of the one key takeaway, or what's one of the lessons, messages, stories that I have shared that resonated most? And it was really interesting to hear a variety of different answers. Obviously, a lot of the answers were similar. They were around vulnerability and masculinity and men, and allowing men to just show up, the importance of modeling the way to do that, which I really appreciated, because that is something I absolutely strive for. I'm a big fan of leadership. I've studied leadership for some 20 odd years, and Kouzes and Posner's Leadership Challenge is one of my favorite models of leadership. The 5 exemplary practices of leadership. Let's see if I can rattle these off. Inspire a shared vision, model the way, encourage others to act, enable the heart, and challenge the process. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. I got it. So that model the way piece for me is incredibly important. And hey, good morning, Michelle. How are you, my friend? What is going on? So that model the way piece for me is incredibly important. It's something that I strive to do every single day, that I strive to show up and model the way. I also strive to challenge the process, encourage the heart, and inspire a shared vision. My vision is an army of emotionally connected men making an impact in this world, whatever that means for you. So, as I said today, episode 150, and I want to talk a little bit about the fastest way to change your life, men. I run into a lot of guys in my line of work, again, speaking, coaching, writing, who are looking for change. They're fucking tired of the status quo. They're tired of getting what they've always gotten, and they want to find some change in their life, but they're not really sure how to go about getting that. So today I want to share a little bit of that, and I want you to also understand that this is a process. This isn't a flip a switch and life changes. This is about being committed to the process of making those life-changing moves. So for me, where this theme came from this morning, like I said, yesterday I posted a question. I asked those following me on Facebook, I said, what was the thing that sort of most resonated with you through all of the things that I share, the stories that I share, the lessons that I share? And Megan, who has known me for years, she is a vice president at one of the lenders that I used to work with when I owned the mortgage company. She said that her biggest takeaway was that not only was it okay for men to feel, but in fact, it was also life-changing for men to feel. And that really struck me because I talk a lot about the importance of allowing the men in your life and allowing ourselves as men the ability to feel, to emote, to express emotions. Maybe I think that was what she talked about, expressing emotions, that it's okay to express emotions as a man. And not only is it okay, but it in fact is life-changing. And I realized that, I think I maybe do a little bit of a disservice here when I show up and I just talk about it's okay for men to feel, it's okay for men to cry, it's okay for men to be what they really are. But it goes much deeper than that. In fact, it's not only okay, but it's fucking life-changing. So if you're in a spot right now that you don't want to be, if you're in a spot that you're not happy with, that you're frustrated, you're annoyed, you're tired. So here's a couple of things. So the first, I'm going to go back to, again, the subtitle of the book. When something's got to change, maybe it's you, my friend. Maybe it's you. I think for a lot of us, and especially as men, we want to fix external circumstances. We want to change our environment around us. We want to change those pressures, those things that show up in our life. And we spend an inordinate amount of time, effort, and energy trying to change external situations, trying to trying to change those external forces upon us. I'm a little rattled this morning. I don't know what it is. I've actually felt a little bit of anxiety hopping on here this morning, which I don't often feel. So let's just practice that pause. This is what I call modeling the way, my friend. Just taking that pause. So when it comes to fastest way to change is starting within. Rather than expending time, effort, and energy trying to change those factors outside of your control, trying to brute force change the environment around us, if we turn that lens and start to look inward, that's where we can see massive change start to occur in a hurry. When we start to, Michelle's telling me to breathe. Yes, exactly. Slow down and breathe. So when we start to look inward, that's where we can see massive change, and in a hurry, in a real hurry. I think, a lot of times we feel like this process has to take forever. But you'll be amazed at how quickly things can change, things can turn around when you start to look inside and you stop pointing the finger out there and you stop looking for external factors to shift in order to find that internal peace. because the reality is we don't have control of those external factors. I mean, obviously, we can put up boundaries, we can remove ourselves from situations, but by and large, we don't have control over those outside factors. COVID-19, loss of a job, loss of a loved one, so many things that are outside of our control. And the problem becomes when we try and control these things that are really outside our area of influence. I mean, again, maybe that's not quite the right way to put them. We can influence things, but we certainly can't control what happens on the outside. So number one, taking that personal responsibility. And if you guys have followed me for any length of time, you know I talk about this a lot. When I work with coaching clients, that's the first thing I talk about. I can't change you. I can give you guidance. I can model the way. I can inspire a shared vision. I can challenge the process. I can encourage the heart, and I can enable you to act. But ultimately, it comes back to you. You have to take ultimate responsibility, ultimate control of self. So when Megan posted that yesterday and talked about how not only is it okay for men to feel or express feelings, in fact, it's life-changing. So let's come back to that. I've talked about this time and time again. The research backs this up. We make decisions based on emotion. We want to think that we're logical beings that sometimes feel, but the reality is we're feeling beings that sometimes think, sometimes, probably less often than we'd like to. But the reality is we are feeling beings who sometimes think. So if we try and go down that road of cognition and thinking, we fall short. But when we learn to express and explore our emotional selves, that's when we can start to gain a deeper understanding of who we are. That's when we can start to reconnect to our purpose, to our being, to our true essence, to ourselves. And only when we do that can we understand those feelings that drive the decisions that we make. And think about it. All of the little micro decisions that we make along the way. Each day is comprised of thousands of little decisions along the way. Each one of those becomes a little waypoint along the way. And even if we go off course by half a degree, over time, that adds up. So when we can start to be more purposeful and intentional about the decisions we make, when we start to recognize and understand the emotions, the feelings that start to drive those decisions, that's when we can start to live a more intentional, purposeful life. So if you want your life to change, start by expressing how you feel to yourself. That doesn't mean running around punching people in the face if you're angry. That means having the courage to allow yourself to feel, to allow that to come up. Learning to soar, to slow down. To open up, to accept what's there so that we can reconnect with our sense of self, with our purpose, with our being. So if you truly want your life to change, first, take full responsibility. Understand that it's not out there that needs to change. It's in here. It's in your heart, which will lead to your mind. And when we can move out of our head and into our heart, that's when the magic starts to happen. So not only is it okay for men to express emotions, not only is it okay for men to feel, but it's fucking critical. And you know, if we want to talk in the context of business, it's the same thing. If we want to talk in the context of success, of accomplishment, of getting things done, it's all about those little decisions that we make along the way. It's all about recognizing where those come from. It's all about building empathy and trust with those you lead if you're a leader. And you are a leader. No matter what, you are a leader. If you're a father, you're a partner, whether you're an employer or an employee, we all have the opportunity to impact the world around us. And after all, isn't that what we all want? We want to matter. We want to mean something. We want to have purpose. And it starts with the heart. It starts when we can slow down, when we can practice that pause, when we can open up, we can accept what's there. We can stand in front of that mirror, buck naked, and say, that's okay. I'm okay with what I see. Then we can reconnect with our purpose, with ourself. And that's when the magic starts to happen. Drop me a note in the comments. Let me know what you guys do. What's been life-changing for you in the last year? What practices have you employed? And guys, if you don't know how to do that, if you don't know how to express emotions, if you don't know what you're feeling, because I understand that a lot of this stuff is really fucking easy to say, but it's not so easy to do. Then start with that pause. Take that breath. Forget about the emotionality and start to notice what's happening in your body. Feel that breath coming in and down into your lungs. Feel your bum on the chair. Start to notice the feet on the floor, your fingertips touching each other. What if you opened your palms? What does that do to shift the energy in your body? As guys, we're usually pretty quick to be able to identify what's going on physically. What do I feel physically? We get that. We understand that. Understand that emotions are contained in the body. When you start to recognize those physical pieces, it makes it so much easier to start to understand and recognize that emotional feeling. That tightness in the chest, what is that? It's a little bit of anxiety. Those sweaty palms, those clenched fists, that tight jaw, that furrowed brow. What's the feeling associated with that? So if you don't know where to start with your body, start with the physicality. Start to allow those feelings, open up, allow those feelings to come. Try and put some names to them, label them. Not just, I'm feeling good. What's underneath the good? Is there an excitement there? Start to pull at those threads, right? If good is this jumble of emotion, how can you start to unpack that? Pull those little threads out. What's this thread? Ooh, that's joy. That's peace. That's contentment. Where can you start to label and identify these things more readily and more clearly? When you can start to label the experiences, when you can start to identify the experiences, they start to become more rich, more full. You can start to notice them more easily. And then when you notice them, again, with awareness comes choice. If I start to notice that I'm angry, I don't have to react to that. I don't have to react quickly to that. I can take the time. I can take that pause and I can decide how to best react. All right, my friends. Happy Monday. Tomorrow morning, I have got a fellow by the name of Ethan on, who runs Pity the Fool Fitness, and he's going to share his journey in mental health and some of the challenges that he's come across. And Wednesday, I have a lady by the name of Samra Zafar coming on, and Samra's got a fascinating story. In fact, I'm pretty sure she's making a movie about it as we speak. She was a child bride who immigrated to Canada and eventually escaped. Anyways, I hope you guys will tune in for the rest of the week. Every morning at 8:30 Mountain Time, I will be right here, mikecameron.ca/live. If you can join me over there. Oh, Brian, I learned to look at where I am realistically, optimistically, and pessimistically. Yeah, again, it's about becoming aware of where you're at and making the decision to make that change, if in fact that's what you want to do. Anyways, my friends, as always, continue to make beautiful shit happen. Have yourself a fantastic day. Take care.